man, back then it was mighty different time, you know. So I would say this. Biggie, out of all the artists in hip hop, just from the fan perspective and other rappers, he was the one to make you go home and grab your pad and pen and go, oh. He had people's faces scrunched up. I mean, they were straight, just scrunchies. Straight scrunchy face. He was serious. And because he only had such a short reign, you know, he's iconic like James Dean. You know, they went too young. So they didn't have a chance to have that fall off period. And when you don't get a chance to be out there long enough, let's just say Nas had passed away after it was written or something. You know, you'd be talking about Nas is the greatest to ever do anything in hip hop, and no one could be talking about now. You see, he would have been protected for life, but he had to have some ups and downs, and when people didn't like him or hated on him for whatever reason, then to come back again, and he's still up there at the top. But you have to have that longevity or some period of, you know, stretched out history to where people could say, you know, we can evaluate you on if you're the greatest of all time. But from the way he was going lyrically, man, I just didn't see anybody that could stand with him. To him it was almost effortless the way he was delivering his bars. That's what made it, you know, even more incredible. But remembering him on March 9th, I mean, he didn't die until, well, yeah, he did die really on early March 9th. Because it was really March 8th, the party was, and then by just going past midnight. Like, my friend was killed at like midnight and made it the next day, but you know, I was still chilling, you know, at work. If I wasn't at work, I'd have been in the car with him. You know, so, you know, things happen for a reason. But remembering Big, man, I gotta take you back to early 90s. Big is getting ready to put out his album. He's I think at this point, this is either 93, 94, while they working on his album, I think. They're at the 45 King's house. Little Kim is there, and Foxy's there. I want to say Smooth the Hustler's there. A lot of Dark Man was there. Brooklyn was in the house. Everybody I knew in hip hop fit in that little bitty basement of the 45 King. And at his house, and things got tense one day between Lil' Kim and Foxy. You know, Kim was ready to punch Foxy in the face. And so, you know, one of those things, the Brooklyn thing. So, you know, it never went past that. But Big at one point was going to write for Foxy. You know, was asked, you know, like, man, you know, you should write joint. He was like, I'll pen something, you know, I'll do a 16 or something when I got some time. You know, I'll write something for you. But he was busy because Puff was on him about the album and this and that, and they were trying to get Foxy a deal. Smooth the Hustler was trying to get his own deal. Jay-Z was trying to get his own deal, because Jay didn't even have a deal at this time. So, just all these guys in there going back and forth with rhymes and bars. And Smooth the Hustler, he ended up writing for Fox. Like, that was her, like, one of her main writers was Smooth the Hustler, for those who didn't know. Then Jay was writing with her. Then Nas started writing some stuff for her. You know, like I said, to this day, this is why she don't have a lot of money coming in from her past records of equity, because she doesn't have any writing credits. You know, it's like you didn't write anything. So when you don't write anything or pen something, it's hard for you to get past revenue off projects. So, even though her brother was writing for her, she had like 4 or 5 different writers like writing for her at the time. So when Kim used to write herself, and Big would write with Kim. You know, Big would help Kim out, but Kim wrote some of her stuff. What people don't really understand is that Kim used to put work in with a pen and write stuff down and try to, you know, and write like that. Big would be like, you know, let's change this, say it this way. Or he'll do a whole song, but he don't do a whole album for her. But those were good times because Big was down there, and I remember one time that Big, they got shorted on the weed. Because this is before Branson and everybody else and Big used to get top-notch weed. They went down, they got Dion used to get this weed for him, so Dion was shiesty. And what he would do is, and this is back before, you know, the Dro, the Chronic, and all that stuff was on the East Coast everywhere and all that stuff. So, what they would do to get they would get cheap weed and then mix it with hash. And that's an East Coast thing. I don't know where they get that stuff from. So, his man came through with the hash. But what he wanted from the bag he got, he was like, man, he realized he got shorted. And back in the days, in the early 90s, what people would do is they would take a water bottle or anything, spray the weed with a little water, throw it in the microwave for like 10 seconds, and kind of hope the buds would spread out a little bit on the weed, so that when you put it back in the little baggie, it looked fat. The bags look fat, and that was the thing. It's the illusion. But if you didn't have a scale around, you wouldn't see that you're being robbed. So back then, he had the fat bag, so they thought they was getting a lot. He was like, man, dude, you got your scale. They poured the scale out, and they put that. He didn't expect him. Dion didn't expect him to have that scale. Oh man! They poured the scale out. He put it on the scale. Dion tried to break up the steps, and he didn't know how fast Big. Big thought was big because he big. He couldn't move. Big. He was big. You trying to play me? He was, nah, man. Hey, man, I swear I ain't know it was like that. And where you going, man? I was just finna go out and go get your stuff, man. I'm gonna go get you some more, man. You ain't gotta pay me nothing. I know I ain't gotta pay you nothing. I already paid you. Hey, go with him. Make sure he bring that back. Oh, man. That was great fun times, man. Big, man. That was good times. But I like how Biggie got all the MCs respect. When they did the points, where everybody was on there. I mean, if you didn't show up that day, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't get the invite to come in there, that's what all Redman, I mean, every MC in the business basically was in there and on that song, the points. And the way everybody did they joint right there on the spot, that's how Biggie got his respect, because Big was blowing up at that time. You know, Biggie name was everywhere. Everybody's talking about Biggie, 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 Biggie. But he ain't let it go to his head at that time. Like, he was still that guy that's gonna show up at the booth and do his job. You know what I'm saying? He was an MC. Like, look, I'm glad you like it and I'm glad y'all admire me, but understand, I'm still big. You know, like his favorite line was, "I put a hole in him." that was his thing. With any MC, you want to battle, I'll put a hole in him. Better hold hands or something. So I'll put a hole in them. So I tell these young boys, man, they better hold hands. Get their prayers in. So, rest in peace to Biggie. Everybody gonna play that song and that line. The greatest of all time died on March 9th. He was a great MC, man. Great MC. It's too bad. You know, he had a tragic end to his career and his life. It's your boy Carcino. I'm out. For the younger people who didn't really know him too much, the guy loved to have fun and crack jokes and everything else. But I'm out.